Hello everybody, it's vanburman here and welcome to my video today, or every day, any day. So I'm going to be talking about Final Fantasy IX. It's obviously now come out on Steam, which you'll probably be aware of. Already got the first part of the playthrough up on YouTube. The second part will probably be coming very soon as well. And there's just a couple of things I wanted to talk about regarding the game. A couple of gripes, a couple of niceties, or, you know, personal choice bit, I don't know. Anyway, so just a couple of my initial thoughts on it. I'm just going to mute the sound of the game so anything like that won't actually come through. So, as we all know, Square Enix have their own little launchers when you're loading up a PC Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy IX is no different. Goodness, it's got on my voice. Sound like a smoker. Okay, that didn't work. So I'm just going to show you the one Final Fantasy IX, and I'm also going to subsequently get rid of my face, because no one wants to see that, let's be honest. Okay, let's take my face back up in a new position, and we'll do the launcher again. Okay, so this is the launcher for Final Fantasy IX. As you can see, literally the only options you get are resolution. It does go up to 1440 by 900 though, which is quite nice. And whether you want it in windowed mode or not as well. So I've not got a problem with that at all. In fact, you know, there's not really going to be a huge amount of options for this particular game, or the way they've done it. And I like the fact that they've not put any of the boosters or anything like that in the launcher like they did before. Personally, I'd just rather it be very simplistic, just the information that you need, you know, to get it running. So there is that. Just one of the things I've encountered when on windowed mode, the tabbing in and out has been, it's not crashed the game or anything like that, so it's not been terrible in that sense. However, if you are tabbing in and out, just be careful with the input controls, because sometimes it does mess it up. Like, for example, I was running over to the right for the start of my particular game. So I'm just going to load into where I am currently. There's no spoilers or anything here really to tell you about, so you have to worry about that. We're still fairly early on in the game. So a couple of things that I like, that I don't like, these are down to personal preference. So the music is a lot better. They've improved upon it. Well, they've improved upon it. They've used the same music from the PlayStation 1, which means the music is a lot better than Final Fantasy 7 and 8 that they released for Steam. So that's worth bearing in mind. That's obviously, I wouldn't say it's a bonus, it's what you would expect, but it has actually been done fairly well, I guess. So in the configuration is where we have obviously the usual messages that we had before, although I don't think we actually have a second player option, which is what we had previously, but never mind. There's tutorials on there as well. Obviously we've got the game boosters, which are in the configuration menu. Okay, you know, fair enough. Don't really like that or very much, or agree with very much. But you can have them on or off if you want to, and obviously the normal, you know, settings are in the game there as well. Now, the thing I think to understand from Final Fantasy IX to Final Fantasy, compared to Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8, is this game has been developed for use on mobile. And this is not a port from the Final Fantasy 1 version of the game. This is a port from the mobile version of the game that they developed. Now, of course, if you remember, the mobile version came out about £12 or something, I believe. And this one is a little bit more expensive, which I must say I am a little bit disappointed about. I'm just going to load up the Steam page here so you can see. Just in the corner there. And they're actually selling it for $15.99. So, this is where my gripes start. I do think it is far too much for the game as it is. Which sounds a bit strange, but basically, they developed it for the mobile market. They've selling it for £12 on there. And when they released it for the Steam version, which is an exact carbon copy of the mobile version, to the point where you can actually click your mouse on an area of the map and the character will then go to that particular position. And obviously that's a feature that's come directly from the mobile version, where tapping on the screen will make the character go to that location. So Final Fantasy 9 itself wasn't actually ported over during the PlayStation 1 era. Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 were, which is why obviously it was a lot easier for Square Enix to re-release 7 and 8. Because of course they were already there, they're already made, PC games were already made for them. So a similar thing did not happen with Final Fantasy 9, so all that had to be done into a more modern format. And of course it gave them a chance to improve upon some things, you know, to make graphical the graphics a lot better. And from what I've seen so far, bearing in mind I've only played it for 37 minutes, I've not been really too impressed. There's a bit in the first part of the walkthrough where it's a bit where Vivi falls over and all the characters run past, and that looks in amazingly low definition. Now, bearing in mind we're paying, I would say, Final Fantasy 9, we're paying over the odds at $15.99. Yes, at the minute there's a 20% discount that you can see on the screen, which is nice. But obviously it is release date, you know, people are going out and buying it early. And the fact that they've not got more high resolution models, and they've done absolutely nothing to the backgrounds as well. It doesn't look great at 1080p at all. I'm actually thinking about putting it down to 720p to see if that actually helps it look a little bit better for me trying to play the game. The other point you've got as well is that it's not running at a widescreen angle like we've got here, aspect ratio. It is running on 4:3, which is obviously the original one. So I don't want to be too critical. I just feel as though they've been quite lazy in terms of actually making any sort of substantial HD improvements, and yet they're charging us £16 for it. So, but it is down to you guys. Obviously, nostalgia will take pretty much all your decision making, make all your decision making for you, like it did with me. I decided I was going to get it anyway. You know, pretty much regardless. If it'd been £16, probably still would have bought it anyway, because I've been quite hyped about it being re-released and basically just wanting to play it through again on my computer and do it that way. But you know, we'll see. It is one of the best Final Fantasies for its story, its characters, pretty much everything. So I don't believe any of that's been touched. I've not really noticed much at all. There's only been a couple of minor changes, some, you know, names of, for example, Baku's name's changed for the opening battle in the game. You know, nothing major, things you can live with. They've also changed the titles, the menus, you know, all of the text and the boxes and everything has all been changed and updated. But obviously you can tell that that UI has been ripped straight from the mobile devices because of how blocky it is, because obviously it has to be fit for someone to use a touchscreen with. And I would have liked to have seen them differentiate that from the mobile version to the PC version. But they've not, and we've got what we've got now. But anyway, like I say, personal preference, all of that. You guys might agree with some of that, you may not agree, but there's been no problems with it launching, with it running. It runs at a pretty low frame rate, but then again, it's a PlayStation 1 game, so what you're expecting? You know, it probably naturally runs at a lower, it does naturally run at a lower frame rate regardless. And yeah, that's about it. So you can go out and buy it knowing that it's going to run fairly well, pretty well, very well. It works perfectly fine on my computer, as you would expect. So yeah, there you go. I don't really have anything else to say. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps you maybe make a decision, or maybe it's put doubts in your mind about whether you want to go out and spend all that money on it. But for the nostalgia factor alone, for me, that's plenty enough. But fortunately, this is probably one of the last times Square Enix will get me this way to part with my money. I mean, obviously. So there you go. Anyway, guys, thank you much for watching. I'll see you all very soon.